Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to Scrapbook Your Legacy with Carrie. I am glad that you are here and joining me again. If you are enjoying my videos, would you please like and subscribe? It helps me. But I do hope that you are truly enjoying it, and I am very grateful for you stopping by to watch my videos. Tonight, I have, because I'm shooting it at nighttime now, today. So this here is a sketch that I'm following from another source called the Creative Design Team. So this is one of their sketches, but I am kind of turning it into my own, not by much. So I cannot give out the measurements. But anyway, I wanted you to be aware of that and give credit where credit's due. This is a date night, so it's a date. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. The other thing is, I wanted to talk to you about some collections that blend with the noteworthy days that Creative Memories has. So if you're looking to go through your stash, depending on what you have in your stash too, but always look at, because now with the newer collections like Noteworthy Days, they show you what cardstock goes with that collection. So what I did is I went and pulled some older collections that I have to try to coordinate with Noteworthy Days and to really work through my stash. So this is a little bit of a stash busting layout to blend with Noteworthy Days. So this is what I'm using. I'm using Homebody. There's a little bit of a glare. This was an advisor exclusive, I believe. It did come with like little embellishments, which I didn't realize until I went looking last night for embellishments and was like, oh, look at that. There's Homebody embellishments. So anyway, this blends well with Noteworthy. It's got similar tones. There was an oriental carpet in this. I should have taken it out. But anyway, so that's what I'm using for this video, is that. And some other ones that would pair well are Sweet Blossom, which I can't remember if this was an advisor exclusive or if it was a incentive for spending, because Creative Memories does that. So they had Fast to Fab, and then they have just regular papers in here, and then it had stickers and a cut apart sheet. So it has, this one shows the cardstock, so it has similar cardstock colors. It would work and blend well with Noteworthy. So if you have Sweet Blossom, blend it in with Noteworthy Days. And I will probably do that at some point. The other one that I pulled out is Calm and Collected. This might have been an advisor exclusive, or it might have been a spend and then receive a gift. So this has lighter greens, some blues, some of the deep sea colors, and then the browns. So it will also blend with Noteworthy Days. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. And so tonight, I am not using Noteworthy Days, but I am doing the stash busting and blending it with Noteworthy Days. So there we go. So anyway, this was a date night, and so I have pulled from my stash. And so this is the direction that we're going in. So I am going to remove the items and start gluing things down. Some other things I might try to use in this are these dots that came with Noteworthy, not with Noteworthy, but with the Homebody collection. I may use stamps, and then I do have some embellishments from Homebody, and then I have some really old fall, laser cut borders, and the colors go nicely with this Persian carpet print. So I may bring that in, I'm not sure. And then some stickers that I pulled to try to use are Noteworthy Days. I am going to try to use that. See, there's a date night. There's a couple on here, love. And this shade of red, kind of like a burnt red, actually blends fine with this. This orange paper is actually from the Rainbow Gradient Best Hits. So it's from the Orange Gradients. So that came out last year with, it was like a promotion, and all the colors work with Noteworthy Days, but they also work with all the other collections. So anyway, so I do have some of the Noteworthy Day stickers. This is from the tonal packs. So these colors work great with this, so I may bring in some of that. I'm going to see how this develops. We're just going to see what happens. But anyway, let me move these, and then at the end, I am going to show you like a month in review kind of layout, because now that I'm trying to do a whole year with Noteworthy Days, I am trying, see, I'm also going to try to piece this to make it work. These leaves are die cuts that I have. They're from dies that I have. I didn't use a punch. And the other thing I wanted to let you know is this tab punch is now no longer $12.50. It's actually on last chance, and it's back up to full price of, I believe it's $25. So, and then the punch, I'm using a Bordermaker cartridge, and I want to say it's the circle chain. So I'm using this tonight. You can kind of see it there. There you go. Here's the circle chain. I'm going to use that one. I was playing with this, but I think, I'm not sure what this one was called. It might have been like something pyramids, pyramid circle pyramid. I don't know. Anyway, it was something like that. And it got too busy. I was trying to create a shelf for the photo, and it just seemed to be too much going on the page. So I edited. So don't be afraid to edit your layouts, like put everything down. So like this layout has been on my desk here for a few days now, and I do some stuff, and then I walk away, and I come back, and then I do more stuff. And so now tonight we're gonna put it all down. All right, I gutted this blue because I only had one sheet of it with the home body, because I shared that collection with a friend of mine. So I gutted it so that this 2-page spread will be cohesive. And that's one way to do some paper saving techniques. So what I'm going to do is I am going to tack this down, and I am going to use my repositional adhesive. Just to make sure that this is all in there, because I use these measurements to help me get this down straight. All right, so we're just gonna get this going, and hopefully it goes. Oh, we are. Well, look at that. Went through a lot of that recently, apparently. All right, so, and then you know what? I go to put it back in. I can never remember how it went back in. There we go. Hopefully this is correct. I hope this is correct. Doesn't want to go in. Let's try it this way. See, it's never like the photo. All right. Maybe I have it backwards. I don't know. All right. Well, here's hoping it works. All right. So let's continue on. Yep, it's working. All right. And I am not going to do any in the middle, because we're just trying to get it on the edge. So anyway, my friend and me and our husbands, we've known each other for a very long time, almost 28 years. And we all lived up in the Northeast together, and they moved down to the South before us. And then we moved several years after and have ended up about the same distance we were from each other up in the Northeast. So that's awesome, because we can still see each other and hang out. And our kids have grown up together. And so anyway, it's been fun to be near each other again, and for our kids to have that time together. And so now we've made this commitment this year to, so I'm trying to do the 1/2 inch area. So I'm trying to kind of line it all up. That looks good. I don't measure, I kind of just eyeball it. That's just what I do. All right, so there we go. That page is down. So I'm gonna get this one. And let's see. I feel like this also has to be at the 1/2 inch, and it's gonna throw it off center, but that's okay because we've got other papers coming onto the page. So we're just gonna, here's the other side of it. Isn't that a great paper? And I would have loved to have used that, but it was busy with the pictures. So anyway, so we all moved down not too long after each other. And so this year, every year I try to set like little goals for myself. Let's just put it that way. And one of them was being more purposeful with spending time with friends and making more time for them. You know, we all get very busy with our stuff, and it's easy to just say, you know, I'm too busy to do stuff. And so, you know, you just have to really be purposeful. And so that was one of my goals for myself this year. One of my intentions was to be more purposeful, and not just with friends, but with family as well. And I'm going to say I'm not perfect, but so my friend and I were like, hey, you know, we did a date night in January. We're like, you know, let's do a quarterly date night, because then we know we're going to be seeing each other more regularly. And so that's what we've done. So this was January, February, March, April, May. So this was quarter 2 date night. Quarter 1, we were downtown, and this one we were not, but we were at a place called Bridgeway Station, which when we got there, now the restaurants are great there, I'm going to say that, and there's a really cool vibe and atmosphere there. It's just, the only way I can describe it is, well, one, you have to go and experience it for yourself, but it almost feels like a movie lot. Like we felt like this could be in Universal Studios. But that being said, it has fantastic restaurants. The main street of it, which there's just a short main street, has lights crisscrossing it. So it's supposed to feel like you're in Italy, but you're not. You're in the South. And, sorry, so these 2 green strips are going to go like this. Okay. So that's what I'm going to get these down. You can see this is that Persian carpet print. It's really pretty. But it was too busy for this. And I tried it. I just went in a very different direction. I just kind of changed it up. So that's why my layouts sometimes just sit on my desk while I'm kind of thinking it over. All right, so we went here and we went to this Italian restaurant because I think there's 3 restaurants here. I think they're all Italian, at least the 2 that I've eaten at are Italian. And the food was excellent, service was excellent. And then we walked around after. There's apartments here so you can buy, but I'll tell you, I don't know what it's like where you live, but all the prices are high, and apartment prices are just insane. Like, we're like, if someone wants to get out on their own, how? Tell me how. So anyway, so we explored. There's an area where there's like a brewery. Well, it's not a brewery, but you know, I wouldn't even call it a bar, but I guess it is, for lack of a better word, it's a bar, but it's huge. And the doors open up out to this plaza, and they'll do music nights, movie nights. There's a big waterfall in there. And then, so when we were there, they had Latin dancing, like salsa, going on. And they just had a DJ and people were doing the salsa. I do not know how to dance, so I would prefer not to embarrass myself, is all I'm going to say. All right, so we got those down. And now we're going to put down our Persian papers, the print that brings all the colors together. So I cut this all so that both sides would be the same. So we're going to go ahead and get that put down. But anyway, comment below. Do you, do you make goals for yourself each year, and how do you do with those? And, are you purposeful with date nights? Because I find like life just happens, right? And you have to be intentional about things in order for those things to happen. And you know, I told my husband, like, we need to date more. Like, we need to get out more. Of course, you know, that costs money too. So you have to think about that. You know, not everybody can go on a date every week, but just even being purposeful to do it twice a month or once a month. It doesn't have to be expensive. So, you know, that's what we do. Sometimes a date could be ice cream. All right, here we go. Get that one down. All right, now in the sketch that I'm following, it called for 5 by 7 like this, but I am altering it because I don't have that. And, oh, you know, I was going to ink the papers. Well, I'm not going to ink the papers. How about that? We'll just pivot. All right, we will get this down, but first I want to, oops, what did I do with the piece that went behind it? Where is that? Is this it? Nope. Okay, don't panic, Carrie, we will find it. Here it is, on the other side. All right, and another, I'm going to show you another purpose for the tab maker tonight, where I'm going to use it, and I'm either going to stamp on it or put a sticker on it. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. This is an ever-changing situation. And then we're going to put this here. I had thought about putting it half and half, but you know, it just, sometimes these can get lost on a busy pattern, you know, so you have to think about that when you're using these border maker cartridges. Like, this wouldn't get lost if this was navy blue. All right, if this chain was navy blue, it wouldn't get lost, but because it's this orange, it kind of gets lost in that print. So I think it looks good just above it. All right, so I'm going to get that. Just started raining. That's a good thing. It's making everything grow. But anyway, yeah, comment below, you know, are you purposeful, you know, and intentional with getting together with friends, even in a busy world that we live in and so many distractions? You know, are you making time to do that? And hey, listen, this is a no judgment zone because I am not perfect at it, but I'm trying to be intentional about it. So yeah, just comment below where have some of your favorite dates been? You know, what have you enjoyed doing for a date night? And, you know, it doesn't always have to be food, right? Like, you can go miniature golfing. So what I'm trying to do is layer some color to, you know, to pull out our skin tones, but also some of the brick, and just create a little more separation and interest. So that's what I'm trying to do here. So I am going to, let's see. Let's just do this. All right, because I want not too much showing, but about like that. Is it even? I don't know. I don't know if it's even. Might be close enough is what we're going for. All right, so we'll do that. We'll get this put down, and just, it's good to use repositionable if you have it. You know, even if you don't have repositional, you can still lift the papers. It's not complicated, and it's fairly easy to do. All right, I'm going to have that butt up to the green, and I'm going to have that up around 4 inches. I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not really following much. All right, and then on this side, all right, so I've got that, which, you know, when you go on a date, I know some people are like, why do you take pictures of the food? But then we remember what we had, and it's just part of the story. And the reason I picked the circle chain, the border maker cartridge, is because of these big cement balls that they had up and down the street. And so I thought that was a good way to tie that in without the page getting too busy. And there were just a lot of round elements there. There were round windows, you know, there's these big urns, you know, a lot of arches. So that's why I did that. All right, so I want this to end up about a ½ inch over, ½ inch from the edge. And then I had cut the paper thinking I was going to do something up here, and then I was like, nah, And so now I wish this was a little bit bigger, but I may just leave it like that because this just going to have a small bit of this here. Matter of fact, let me cut it with the scissors. And we will then have that there. And I'm not going to make it exact, but you know, if you're not sure, you can just have something hang off the end of your paper and just snip it once it's done. All right, so let me put that down because then I know where I need to be. But yeah, tell me about some of your dates. Did anything crazy happen on any of your dates? Anything silly? And my husband and I also enjoy mini golf. I feel like we might need to go and do some go-kart stuff or something, you know, get a little more adventurous. All right, so let's get these down. But anyway, my girlfriend and I, we just went and explored. Our husbands were hanging out, checking stuff out, and we're trying to figure out where things were here and, you know, just, you know, so we got in an elevator, which is what this picture is. We ended up in an elevator because we're trying to find our way back downstairs and see where things went, as it's just a huge complex. And then, so we thought, well, let's take a selfie in the elevator. And so my face is weird because as we're taking the picture, the door is opening and there's people outside the elevator. And so then I'm like, oh, well, we look weird, don't we? But anyway, we had a good time with that. All right, so I'm going to kind of center this here. So we'll get these down. And yeah, so I don't know where our next date night is going to be. We're getting to the end of Q3, so we were already talking about like, ooh, we need to do something in September. And so we'll probably go up to their town and let's see, 11 and 1. Okay, and then we'll go over. Try to make it in the middle. Try to make it straight. That looks pretty good. All right, and then we'll get these on. Now this one's a little darker because the paper was a gradient, so it started out light and then went darker and darker, and so I just cut what I had and went with it. So I'm gonna just center that over these. Yeah, so that's my crazy surprise face because the door opened and I wanted to laugh because we were taking a selfie in the elevator. But you know what? We have fun, we have a lot of laughs, and we have a great time. And then this here is a mocktail. I tend to do mocktails. It was so good. It was like, it had herbs in it. And then I think it was, I'm trying to remember if it was like peach. But it was so refreshing. So do you prefer mocktails or cocktails? Do you like something more herbaceous? My boys laugh at that because I used that when we were out in Colorado. And we were at a food hall, like a food court thing in downtown Denver. And one of my sons did an open tab, which was very generous. And so I had a mocktail there. And I was saying, oh, this is really refreshing. It's so herbaceous. And so they were like, Mom, is it herbaceous? So yeah, they like to make fun of me. Anyway. All right, so my plan is to have this here, even though it's a little close to that. And then this is my title, which came from my stash, The Best Moments, because the best moments are with going on a date night with friends in this case. And I cut circles. I was going to use dies, but I wanted to show you how you can use just the custom cutting system that Creative Memories has to create spots for your embellishments to rest, okay? But these leaves are from my dies. I've used some of our punches in the past. Oops, I just flicked that at myself. So I'm gonna take these off. So this one's gonna come over here, and then this one's gonna come down in here. I was gonna have it over here because I had a lot of white space over here. I was gonna have it here. I didn't have my journaling box there originally. I was like, you know, there's a lot of white space, so I kind of wanted to fill that in. So I moved this here, you know, and listen, you don't have to do, you know, 3 different embellishment spots on your page to carry the eye. You know, again, the photo the photos are the stars. But I do like to spread things around the page and kind of fill some areas and just enhance the story. But do what you want, right? It's about being creative and doing pages that you enjoy looking at and that tell your story the way you want to. So these are from the Homebody collection. They had a bunch of words and stuff, so I thought this could look nice down in here. I could maybe do it over in here with this being at the bottom. I might consider that instead of over here. So let's just see. But I've got that title, which I will put down soon here. I want to get this down. I'm just going to lift this up and slide this under, so I don't want it to go off the page. But there's still room for the title. And it could even come down. And I might stamp something here or put a sticker here. I'm not sure. There's a lot of these wordy bits here that I think are nice. But I was also thinking about tying in some more circles. So let's just see what we do, what happens here. Not quite sure yet. All right, so I have that down, and I've got, let me move some of these out of the way because I don't think I'm going to use those. All right, and then I cut these leaves. I'm not sure if they're really the size I wanted, but I'm going to go with it and get them down, and then I'm just going to fill in. I feel like they're probably not going to fill in enough, but we're gonna make it work. I say make it work, but we're gonna have fun with it. And I'm going to, I have this sheet of sticky dots that Dorothy over at Scrapbook in Quebec recommended for really tiny little detailed dies. So that's what I'm going to use, but I figure I'll do it off camera and then you don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to get these leaves down off camera and come back and we'll do some finishing touches. All right, see you in a bit. All right, so I got the leaves down. I have not stuck anything else down other than this and the circles. So I'm going to add in some other things to finish out these embellishment areas and see how I want to finish it off. And I still haven't decided on whether or not I'm going to stamp. I have love, I have remember, or together, some of those I'm thinking of, and then good things take time, or life is a beautiful ride, celebrate everything. So I may do celebrate everything here. And then like love, or I don't know if remember will fit there, or together. So I might do that. So let's see. I've got the ink over here. Let me take that off because that's kind of what I put my little ink thing on. So let's do some stamping on our layout because that's always fun to do. All right, so celebrate everything, because I do think that it's good to celebrate just the everyday stuff. All right, so that's, these things are sticky. I think it goes like that. Oop. So you want to get some of that sticky stuff off. And I'm using this Versifying Claire Morning Mist that Dorothy over at Scrapbook in Quebec uses and recommends. So I just got that. But if you have other stamping inks, then use those. And this is a nice charcoal gray. All right, so we're going to do this right here. All right, I'm going to let that soak in a little bit. And press down. All right, it's a little wonky, but you know what? It's good. You can read it. It's not blurry. It's not blurry. All right, and then I think I will take, let's see if together fits. Let's see how these fit. I'll have to clean that stamp later. Let's see how they fit on here. There's together. Well, so together fits. Happiness is a little big. don't want to do hello. Let's do together, because we were together. That's always good. All right, so I'm gonna put this down here. It's so sticky, so sticky. My fingers are sticky too from using those little stickle things that you have to be, there's a learning curve to it, and it is not always easy to use, and your fingers get all sticky, but it's fun and it's good with the embellishments. Okay, that worked. All right, so we're going to ink that up, and okay, I'm not even going to practice this. That will be centered right there. All right, let's do that. Hopefully it comes out. Just hold it so the paper can absorb it, and then straight up. There we go. Together and celebrate everything. So we've stamped on our layout. All right, I'm going to cover that up. And then I'm going to get the title down. And I'm not going to put anything up on foam squares this time, I don't think. I think I want it flat, because you have to think about how thick your album starts to get, and so you don't want it to get too thick, but those are always nice. Okay, that looks good. That's kind of centered, and I like how that just kind of comes around the circle. All right, so we'll put these down here. I might put this up on a foam square, but I think I like this here. So I think I might do that and kind of come around there. I don't know. I don't think I want it here because then it's right under that. So yes, we will do that there. All right. I like how that kind of comes around there. Yeah, we'll do this on, I get one big, pardon me, reaching through. Put this on a big foam square, and I'm sorry if I fall out of camera. All right, so we'll do that. And then we'll do this under here, because date night is all about love. Investing in each other. That's important, to invest in each other. All right. Even when you have little ones, you know, it's hard. Of course, when you have little ones, I'm not liking this blank area up in here. So let me see what I can do. Maybe, maybe I can move those and put something in here. Let's see, because I have, you know, these, I've got some shapes. I've got smile, that would work there. Let's see if we can move these up. Will it let me move them up? Because it's like one of those things that is, let's see if we can move this up. It's a little wonky. And a little wonky. All right, we'll leave that one there. Let's see if we can get this one up. It's just so sticky. Don't come apart, don't come apart. Let's see if we can fill that in. All right, come back down here, a little leafy. Okay, let's see. It's not perfect, but you know what? It's good. All right, so let's bring smile in. We'll put that right there. Some of that sticky is on top. That's annoying, but it is what it is. Let's see. Do I want anything else? I've got words over here. Do I want to add anything else? I feel like that might be good. All right. I know I had date night. Let's see where we can put this. This is a clear sticker, so this is easy to use. So maybe I can put this up in here. I mean, we're going to have another date night because we're doing it quarterly, so I could wait. Well, that gets kind of lost over there. Do I want that there? Do I not want it there? See, this is where it's kind of like, do I need something there? Do I? Well, you know what? Let's put it there. Let's just go ahead. Let's just put it right against that. Okay. You see, they could be red. They can be kind of bricky orange, so that works. All right. date night. Now we know what we're talking about here. All right, so I'm going to call that done. The journaling says it's a date. This year, we and our friends started a quarterly date night. We alternate towns. This time we went to Roti's at Bridgeway Station. It's a different kind of place, meaning Bridgeway Station is, but the food was very good. It did not disappoint. So that was June 28th, 2025. All right, so we're going to call that done, but I also wanted to show you another layout to do like a month in review. Like if you're using any of the Creative Memory stuff to do a year in review, I just want to show you a simple grid. Now I did use this from Scrapbook. I think it's Scrapbook.com. Anyway, my friend gave it to me. So I used this to make my grid and line everything up. So this is using noteworthy days. So June, because this was the month of June. So these are highlights. And then I've got my double page spreads for my bigger events like the date night, or Father's Day was in June, and I shared that layout in my last video. So this is a grid paper. I believe I gutted it, but I backed it with white paper. So yes, I did gut it because I have the smaller pieces. But you could fill this in with all pictures, but and that would be fine. And then using peekaboo pockets, you can do that. But then I took some of the cards, the journal cards, and cut them down to fill in as ephemera. So, you know, here a camera is very appropriate. Life, memories, photos. This is, you know, snapshots from the month. I used some stickers from Mother's Day, but I also told you those could be used for Father's Day if your dad loves to garden. So I add some of those. This is a journal square from Noteworthy Days, and I just add some stickers in, and this little journal. And I just did a bullet point. I didn't tell the whole story here. This is our puppy Fern out in the yard. I mean, she's a puppy. She's a year and a half, but you know, if you own a lab, you know. Our cows, they aren't our cows, but we think they are. Our gardens, you know, we had a fence put in for our dog because we have houses that are going to be built in the cow pasture. That's coming up and it makes me so sad. So Fern helped me with gardening. And then me and my best friend, my son's tattoo. He works in the movie industry, and he was on a shoot up in Kentucky, and they all something to do with eggs. Oh, because the place where they were, it's an interesting story, and I probably cannot tell it except that there were Fabergé, pieces of Fabergé in the house, not necessarily eggs, but other things. And because of the Fabergé egg, they all did an egg kind of tattoo. They all did different ones. So his is a sunny side up riding a bacon toboggan, which I think is hilarious. My vegetable garden. So anyway, these are all highlights. My son and nephew playing a card game. And then I had a funny story around this. So when we first got Fern, my friend got us this silly crocodile. He's so silly. He's got these long limbs and they pull through. And the first time she had one, it was bigger than her. But this is the second one. And this is what it looked like about 2 days after, and it looks even worse now. So my little journaling was, this little croc is having a moment. My friend purchased one for Fern when she was a puppy. It was bigger than her and lasted a long time. It lasted a long time until she decided to become a murderer. She finally tore it to shreds. When we found another one at Marshall's. Enter number 2. This is croc number 2. The top photo is Crocky, brand new. The other photo is after a couple days. Number 3 will be coming if Marshall still has it. So she loves it. She loves to toss it around. So that was a longer story for that because, you know, it's fun to remember those things. But anyway, so when you're trying to do an album for the year, think about, to fit it all into one album is like a month in review like this with a grid. And you obviously can do smaller pictures, more photos, more peekaboo pockets. But you can see that this coordinates, even though the page underneath is not noteworthy, but it's my stash, but I think it goes. You can see that the colors work well. All right, so look for your stash to blend in with Noteworthy Days to go along with that. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for watching this video and staying with me. I'm trying to grow this channel and inspire you. Hopefully you find these. Again, comment below, leave me a message. So you find me on YouTube. You can find me over at Facebook at, my brain is starting to slow down, at Scrapbook Your Legacy with Carrie. And that is where I load up. I also cross-post the video there, but I also post new product as it's released over on Facebook. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and we'll see what we have next week. All right, bye-bye.